So I was supposed to make it through this without crying, and that has already, I've already failed. But thank you, Sujan. I really appreciate you, my friend. Good morning. I'm really excited to be here with all of you for many reasons. But one of the reasons is I love this event. I've told my wife, who is here in I think the only pink blazer in the room over here, I've told her many times that this event feels like tradition for me. And later this month, we're going to take our 4-year-old and our 1-year-old to my hometown for the first time to start what I know will be new traditions. You see, I'm from a really small town. My wife is a Bay Area native, but I'm from a really small town at the very bottom tip of the state. So think Palm Springs, and keep driving. Think Coachella, yes, that Coachella, and keep driving. Think agriculture, beef factories, and then you're there. And one of the things that I love to do when I get home is pull off of Highway 86 into the donut shop. And to get there, I get what I consider to be the best sweet tea this side of the Mississippi. It comes in a gigantic cup, and it's overflowing with ice. And it is the classic, if you know, you know. It's one of those hometown favorites. And let me tell you something else. If they know, everyone knows, because within minutes of getting that sweet tea, I will get text messages from friends, half of whom are mad at me because I didn't tell them I was coming home. The other half excited to hang out for the next few days. And like many of my friends who are still at home, I might have also stayed in the Imperial Valley had it not been for a counselor at my high school, at Brawley Union High School. She pulled me into her office one day. She sat me down, and she handed me a financial aid form. I grew up benefiting from lots of public programs, Head Start, free lunches, and still, I went to one of those high schools that many of us read about, a place that didn't always have enough textbooks for folks, and it certainly didn't have the resources that I think we all deserve to dream big about what could come next. So what Ms. Hardy saw in me, I'm not sure, but what I do know is that one conversation changed the entire trajectory of my life. Without her, I'm not sure I would have applied to college, and within a couple weeks of that conversation, I was off to UC Santa Barbara, where I became the first person on both sides of my family to earn a college degree. There's more crying coming. I didn't think I would cry there. And I know that I got lucky, but I don't think anyone in this state should have to be lucky to go to college. And I have to tell you folks, at the pace our state is going right now, Latino students in this state won't all reach grade level proficiency in reading until 2046. 2046. And for Black kids, they won't all reach grade level in reading until 2071. 2071. I don't even know if I can count that high this early in the morning. And what that means is too many kids in our state cannot read. They cannot read. I think the good news, though, is that we all know what it feels like and what it looks like when we get education right. It's the 6-year-old in your family, the 6-year-old boy who comes home from school and can tell you everything about anteaters because they're now his favorite animal. It is the 10-year-old little girl who is beaming from ear to ear when she finally figures out the trick to adding fractions. Those of us with little ones know that that's a big deal. I think we all know those feelings and those moments. And at EdTrust West, where I have the privilege of working, my team is here at table 12. We are singularly focused on students. Our goal when we wake up every morning is to try to figure out how to create the conditions so that every young person in this state gets an excellent education. Our team, we work on all sides of that really complicated policy process that Sujan mentioned. We work to identify new solutions when they're needed. We work with really passionate people to build support for those solutions. We also will step in and work with schools or colleges that are trying to figure out how to implement new laws. We're headquartered here in the Bay Area, and the Bay Area is one of the places where some of our most groundbreaking work starts. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that our work gets supercharged by Tipping Point. And I just want to give you one example of why they have been and they continue to be great partners beyond the grants. About 5 years ago, Tipping Point commissioned a study. They set out to understand the challenges that students face while going to college and trying to raise a family at the same time. What they found is that some of the most effective things for supporting student parents are really cost-effective. They're really easy to implement. Things like ensuring colleges make sure that student parents are simply aware of the financial aid that's owed to them. Fairly simple, not that expensive. They also found that allowing students to register early for classes was incredibly impactful. Again, really simple, not that expensive to do. So after completing that research, Tipping Point shared it with Sujan and I, and we decided to act on it. We formed a statewide alliance with hundreds of folks. We tested the ideas. We drummed up support for those ideas in Sacramento. The result? The country's landmark bill for supporting student parents, making California undeniably the best place in the country to go to school and raise a family. And our impact is reaching nearly 500,000 Californians a year, mostly women who are just trying to go to college and raise a family. I think that's something we all should be proud of as Californians. It's a big deal. And I'm proud of that because, as I shared and cried about just a few minutes ago, I was a first-generation college graduate. But I was far from the first to try to go to college in my family. My grandfather, who is still living and breathing, thank goodness, was among the first 55 Black students to step foot on the New Orleans campus of Louisiana State University, LSU. They integrated that campus bravely, but my grandfather was spit on. He was called the N-word, and ultimately he decided to leave. My mother, my late mother, she started college after she had me, making her one of those student parents. But she ultimately had to drop out because it was just too difficult. And instead, she enlisted in the military, where they made it easier for her to access housing, a paycheck, and childcare for me. So, as I stand here, a gigantic crybaby this morning, having earned a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and because I was bored, a PhD too. I'm really grateful for my family and the courage of my ancestors, but I'm also grateful for good public policy. The Head Start program I mentioned that I went to for preschool, the free lunches I got in grade school, the grants that got me through undergrad and grad school, that was all good public policy. And so at a time when, at least in my world, it feels really easy to turn away from public policy as a tool for good, I know it's hard. I hope that some of what I shared today is a reminder for all of us. It's certainly a reminder for me that we all have the power to change the world in the ways that we would like to see, and we all have the power to create the sorts of policies that reflect our values, Bay Area values. And so with that, I am extremely excited to welcome and introduce Jordan Calley, who is an incredible mother and advocate and whose wisdom have certainly strengthened my work and strengthened the work at EdTrust. Thank you.